I'm pretty sure they're at like 2K or something like that. I'm pretty sure we have like 2K viewers. I'm pretty sure that's about it. 99% sure. Which I don't see why that person would bought it for, as if like it's a bad thing. Like, thanks for the viewers, bruv. Appreciate it. But yeah, let's hop to the charts chat. Let's see what's going on today. And let's see what we got going on. So starting off with the monthly time frame here. So if you look at the monthly time frame, you're gonna see that we are currently at this resistance here. So I think this is the same breakdown we've had in the last couple of days on gold here. I don't think anything has changed about the monthly time frame. We're at the same resistance. So if you were to draw a line from here to here, you're gonna see there's this resistance to the left hand side over here, right, going all the way across. You can see there's a lot of rejections levels here, more rejections here, more rejections here, right? So within this area, that's a resistance. Now you want to see where your support is. So I'll say for the most part, my support would be sitting somewhere around here to the left hand side. So basically this is one massive range you're basically in. So from here to here, this is one range. Let me make this a little thicker, pause. This is one range, right? So within this range, obviously it's a very triple range on the monthly. It's over 2,000 pips basically, but or 1,000 pips I'll say. But yeah, the monthly, you have about 10 days left, so you're coming closer to the end of the month. But it looks like the monthly did start the month off creating a bottom wick, right? So you create a bottom wick and now you're starting to flip bullish. Now the question is, are we flipping bullish to actually flip bullish and stay above the range for next month? Or are we flipping bullish to create a top wick? Now I think for the beginning of the month, I was like, yeah, well, basically what you want to see is you'll want to see price come up, break all the highs, and then flip bearish, right? So it'll be a top wick for us to drop back down to retest the lows. However, in this case, you have about 10 days left. And with 10 days left, I'm not sure if you have enough time to really come up and then flip bearish to drop back down to retest the lows, right? So that might be a problem now, since you have limited time there. But what could happen is price could flip bullish and continue to close above the range like this. Or sorry, my bad. Price could continue to close bearish at the top of the resistance like this, right? And if this happens, great. Because next month's candle, what you would want to see is you want to see a top wick and then another push down to re-break the lows. Or sorry, you want to see a push up to re-break the highs and then the flip bearish to kind of come down and fill the range, right? That's sort of what you want to see if you were to flip bearish. Because right now, where price is at, it's at an indecision zone. There's no indication that we're going to reject yet. There's no indication that we're going to continue yet. The only thing that we have here is a closure at resistance, right? At the top of the range. So that's what we got going on for the monthly. Dropping down to weekly. Let's take a look here. So the weekly is pretty bullish right now. So obviously there's this resistance to the left over here on price. So resistance, you have it over here, right? That's your resistance, and then your support down here. This is the range you're in, basically from here to here, from 2020 to 1920. That's the range you're in. And I'll say if you look at the weekly, you obviously closed bullish last week, which is great. For this week, what I want to see is I want to see a bottom wick, right? Because we closed bullish. What that means is that we found support, right? And if you found support and there's no bottom wick, I would assume that before dropping up to fill the rest of the range, in order to grab liquidity, you'll need to see a break of the lows before it push up to retest the highs. Now, every time you did break into the range, though, you did tap into 2020, like you did over here, where you closed above, drove up to the top of the range, right? Same thing over here, closed above. Took a while to drive up, but ended up dropping up to the top of the range. So same thing should happen here. I'll say as you're breaking back into this range, you should continue to push up towards the 2020 levels. So it's just about the bottom wick area. I'll say if we can break the previous candle low, that'd be amazing, because then we'll see something like this form and that'll be perfect. If not, then guess what? I guess you just flip bullish without that steep of a wick, and that's going to be completely fine as well. But preferably just to break our lows, just to grab orders, to continue driving up. Worst case, something like this can happen, or worst case, we might not even flip bullish, right? We might just end up coming down to create bottom wicks, but we'll figure that out on a smaller time frame. That's nothing to worry about just yet. We're just trying to figure out what the possibilities are of the weekly. and those are two scenarios that could play out. So the daily, I think the daily today is pretty bullish. You close doji on Friday after closing bullish above the range on Thursday, so basically you're in this range right now, right? So I think on Wednesday you close back above the range, and then this is your resistance, right? So this is the one massive range you're basically in, and you can see here on, I think this was Wednesday. Yeah, so Wednesday you close that resistance, and then Thursday you actually close back into the range. So what that indicates is that we are closing above this range here, looking left. Last time in the past, you did continue to drive up towards the top of the range when you closed above the range. It didn't drive right away, which in this case didn't drive right away as well. This count kind of came down, broke out of lows, grab orders, and then continued to push up, right? So this count over here to the left, to the right, could end up coming down all the way down towards the support to the left here, for all I know, at 1960 before making its way back up to retest the highs, right, for bottom wicks. So that's what we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out, okay, well, is price going to mirror this push to the left before making that move up to retest the highs, or could we just retest any given point to continue pushing, right? We are tapping into the support, so that's why you see price slowing down quite a bit here. But the idea is that today you should be able to flip bullish to continue dropping up towards the top of the range, and if it doesn't, then you better hope that we close bearish, respecting the support in order to drive up tomorrow, right? I think the no bottom wick area on gold is like down here, right? Yeah, so it's gonna be, let me just take a look at this for it real quick. I think this is 1930, and then the daily, yeah, it's all the way down there. It's kind of far. All right. Yeah, so that's the daily. Again, you're just expecting a bullish flip to retest the highs, or even a bearish candle closure respecting support in order to drive up tomorrow or the day after. Looking at the 4 hour though, it's not looking too great. You have about an hour left. One thing I'll say about it is that you are still respecting, I'll say, the support to the left hand side right around here at the 1970s. This is the support that you have on price here. I would assume that you should be able to push up to retest the highs, which will be the top of the range here, sitting at 1984. That's the range that you're currently still in. Yes, you're currently still in the same range, even though you're way below it. Why? Because you haven't closed yet, right? So once you actually close below the range, sure, that's an indication that price could continue to push further down, and looking left, you could drop all the way down towards side at 1962. But until you actually close below, there's no indication of that whatsoever. And any given point within the 4 hour candle, you could, where's my phone, you could still flip bullish to continue dropping up. So any given point, this can happen, right? But you have an hour left. You have the New York open in about 5 minutes here, then you have the comics open at 8:20. So let's see what that does, let's see how that affects price. But yeah, a close below on the 4 hour candle at 9 a.m. will also indicate that, yeah, there's a high chance now we could continue to drop down. However, I would like to see a top wick form first before making that push down, right? Something like this would be ideal. So there is a possibility that we could be in a situation to say, okay, well, no matter where price goes, you'll likely see a top wick tap into 1979 before making that push down to retest the lows, right? So you can use that to your advantage if you are looking for potential buys to retest the highs or to retest 1979. Because the daily is bullish, right? We were expecting the day to flip bullish, right? So it's just about the small time frame lining up now. It's just about the 15:30 and the 1 hour candle closing back above the range, or showing indications that you could be coming up to retest the highs. In this case, the 4 hour candle, you have an hour left. Any given point, this is a level of rejection. Like, you did have plenty of rejections in the past in these areas here. You can kind of see looking across on price, right? So same thing can happen here today. This candle could still flip bullish at any given point to drive up to retest the highs. I would not be surprised. So let's see, what could we grab today, or what could I take today? Again, I'm open to buys and sells today. It's not just buys or sells. It's buys, or it's not just buys and pure buys or sells and pure sells. It's buys or sells for me all the time, right? I'm just worried about the daily, because the daily, let's see, I'll say, what should I use today? 15. I guess I use the 30 for now. 30 might not be too bad. All right, so just straight up support resistance. Doesn't really matter where you draw it. It has nothing to do with your entries. It's just to show like overall your levels, levels that you could be respecting versus levels where you could be rejecting, right? But it's not as like an entry level or anything like that. So I'm not gonna put too much effort into this. When it comes down to waiting for closure, sure, you know, you could readjust, look left, and see the most precise levels. But for now, like, it doesn't have to be too. It's not too key, I'll say. Yeah, so that's your support, 1968. I'll say that's the bottom of the range, and then your top of the range could be around, could be here, to be honest, at like 1979. I'll say 79, 1980. Yeah, like 1980. What is this? Yeah, 1980 and then 1968. This is your range. This is your range you're in. One massive range you're in right now. Still, the 4 count again hasn't closed below the range just yet. Still respecting 1977. So you're within the range of 80 to 68, which means that this is the range you're gonna spend the majority of your time in today before breaking out, if you even break out. Or for all I know, we might just end up catching positions within this range here. But I'll say for the most part, I'll say even if price were to drive up here towards like 1980 and just reverse with the 4-hour candle flip, even if that were to happen, I'll say you're gonna have to come down and break the lows first here, which would take you down towards like 1968. So I'm trying to see now if we can grab sells to come down towards 1968. Obviously, you have an hour closure in about 2 minutes here, so I'll wait for the 1 hour close. But there's some potential for us to grab whatever this move is down towards the retest of lows at 71, and then potentially runners or full position closures at 68. It's not too bad at all. Yeah, it's not too bad. I don't think you need closures below, to be honest, because no matter where it goes, you're gonna see the breakout lows, or you're gonna see the bottom. Like anyway, it's tapping like 71 or like 1970.560. Let me just check the 5 real quick and see exactly what that is, but it should be around these areas to the left here. Yeah, like 670.686 or 639. BE point could be 70.819. That's not bad. Yeah, I'll stay right there. Should be pretty good. The higher it goes, the better it would be for us too. All right, sick. 1 hour closer, chat. All right, cool, chat. I'm gonna grab some sells here. Gonna grab some sells.